Hello. So if you are watching this, I want to believe that you'll watch two other videos. One is Meet Your Coach, and the other one is the first video on the first pillar, which is the belief system. Excuse me. So today or this time, we are going to review again the second pillar. Remember, it is an exploration of a three-legged framework I call the BFF framework, which stands for belief system, food system, and the fellowship system. Basically, that is to mean change of mindset, change of food, and working on a good nutrition that serves your body. And number three is basically community. Community is extremely important. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. And right now we're going to be exploring the second pillar, which is basically your food system. So please write with me. Again, make sure you have your workbook. Watch, if you can watch through the first time and then work with the second time with your workbook, I think that will be great. So we are looking at the food system, and in this I'm calling it the way to honor God with your plate, because whatever you put in your body, it's either fueling you to freedom and health and healing, or it's either giving you disease. It's just taking you to the other direction. And we can choose the food. We can choose whatever actions we want to take with our food, but unfortunately we cannot choose the consequences. The choice we make is going to choose the consequences for us. So fuel is food. I mean, the food that we eat is going to be the fuel that fuels us to freedom, and that's what we're looking to do. So we're going to honor God with our plate, and I will take you back to 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether we eat or drink, we do it all to the glory of God. Food is not a reward. It's not a punishment as well. Food is a gift. It's a tool that God has given us so that we can be able to achieve the purposes that he wants us to achieve. Remember, in video one, we talk about the why. So the biggest of the whys as a Christian woman is to be able to really fulfill the God's mandate in your life. And it could be bringing up godly children. It could be just ministering to young girls or ministering to other women. It could be just working a secular job where you need to be diligent and perform as best as you could. So food is a tool. It's not a punishment. It's not a reward. And we need to look at it in that perspective. It is a tool for us to achieve the purposes of God in our lives. So why we struggle? We struggle with food because sometimes of emotional eating. It could be embedded in trauma. It could be embedded in bad relationships. It could be embedded in just a culture that we have carried along. And the confusion of food in terms of guilt and shame. Those cycles of guilt and shame, and just the culture we live in with fitness and diet fads and dieting and all the confusion about a lot of diets, that which one is good for my health, which one is not good for my health. So there's a lot of confusion. And sometimes we don't have clear information. Sometimes it's because we don't have time. We have a lot on our plate when we struggle with food. We can't really put in the discipline that we want to put in. But God wants us to heal our relationship with food. Paul says, even as our spirits prosper, so our bodies should. But then also we have to bring in the issue or the perspective of stewardship, not perfection. It is progress. Honoring your body and honoring God with your body, with what we eat. No need to obsess or to extremely and very extremely restrict. Asking God, is this fueling your temple, or is it just giving me undeserved or unguided pleasures that are just going to lead me to the disease that I don't want to go to? So we want to create a plate that really honors God. And God has given us, remember, the food not as a punishment or reward, but it is just a tool that we use. So we're going to explore briefly in this video. And if you want to really dig, because the food pillar is a huge pillar and it is deeply personal, and I can't start giving you one size fit all for your nutrition needs. It's going to be very specific. Your needs may not be my needs. My needs are not going to be your needs. We might be in different ages. We might be in different physiological statuses. We might be in different social statuses, and it's going to warrant different kind of nutrition approach. So you have to go in knowing your nutrition is going to be extremely, extremely personal. And we're going to review in the third pillar the importance of seeking personalized nutrition with somebody who can help you, with a community that is going to help you. But you have to remember your nutrition is extremely personal. And in creating a plate that honors God, we have to remember that you have to work on breaking down, number one, systems of food that do not serve you. I'll give you one out there. For example, who told you that for breakfast you have to have eggs, you have to have bacon, you have to have bread, you have to have this? And when you don't have them, you're like, we don't have breakfast. But you have some fish in the fridge, you have some spinach, and you have some ugali or cornmeal or rice in the fridge or just in your pantry, but they don't fit in your category of breakfast. That is just one thing that we have to really ask ourselves. When we are looking at the nutrition structures that we have built, are they serving our body or they're serving culture? Are they serving our bodies or they're serving tradition? What are we really focusing on? What are the traditions? What are the food practices that we are using or we are following that do not serve our body? Number two, we have to break down. No, that's number one. We have to break down those structures of food that do not help us. Number two, we have to build a system of nutrition that is personal, specific to you, and that serves your body. That calls for you to be diligent and patient in learning your body. Now, one, you did not gain the weight in 2 weeks. So why do you expect to lose everything in 2 weeks? Patience is going to be a virtue in this journey because you have to learn your body. You have to learn with what works long term. Now, this is when we are wearing that cap of long-term and sustainable weight management. We have to think of, what am I going to build according to my lifestyle, according to if I'm a young mother, if I'm an empty nester, if I am a professional woman out there, if I'm a stay-at-home mom, if whatever situation of life and whatever logistics in your life that are more important to you, depending on those situations, what is a food structure that is helpful to me? What role does that food play in my life? And then considering also the people around you. Now, the third thing is you have to know how your body functions. Does your body function well with a structure? Most of people and most of our bodies tend to function best with structured food eating. So we have to be able to consider those. And then, does your body work more impromptu? What are those systems of how you eat? Now, this is not specifically what you eat, but how you eat. So are you a morning person? Are you a late night person? Those things are going to inform what steps you need to take to create a sustainable food practice for you. And then number 4 is we have to get ways that are specific to you that are going to be able to hack your metabolism. What is going to work for you may not be what is going to work for me. But those 4 pillars are going to be very crucial in creating a system of food that works for you long term. So there is an exercise in your workbook that is going to help you creating those plates. What role has food played in your life? Ask yourself those questions. In addition to those questions in the workbook, what's one simple upgrade you can make this week? Are you drinking enough water? So your water is part of your food structure. So the other 2 things that I really want you to consider when you're considering your food, system is, how is your sleep hygiene? Because your sleep hygiene is going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect how the food is going to function. Your body has seasons. There's a time for everything. Even the Bible says there's a time for everything. There's time to be awake. There's a time to be asleep. The sleep is not just created as a cute thing that we have in the world or setting up calendars. It is for the body to heal itself. One of the biggest functions of those seasons and times is for renewal. You look in the Old Testament where God creates seasons of leanness and bounty. It will be like, this time you need to go on a fast. This time you need to eat and celebrate and send gifts to people. And then he creates seasons where you are going to be planting. On the 7th year, you're going to let the land rest. So there are seasons that are created for different things. And we need to create those rhythms in our lives. We need to create rhythms of plenty and rhythms of leanness, what other people might call feasting and fasting, for that sustainable long-term look into food. So create a one-day meal plan and put your scriptures into it. Remember the scripture we talked about in the first video. Those truths, put them in your meal plans, put them in your day-to-day walking, into your day-to-day activities. So let's remember that food is worship. It's not war. It shouldn't be war in our lives. We need to invite God into our table because he's already waiting. How we eat, let's not be able to fear praying for God to show us steps to take in our food. Now, if you really want to discuss more about the food, because the food system, it needs to be very specific, and I'm not going to give very specific undertones, because then that's going to confuse you and you might do something that is not going to work. I need you to really pay attention and gather all your questions, and please show up in the Q&A sessions. Join up in the workshops, join up in the challenges, and that's where you're going to get your benefits in terms of your personal nutrition. I want to read the book of, I want to read for us scriptures from Proverbs. And that is going to really put a perspective in our eating. Proverbs 3, and I'm going to read from, let me just go ahead and read from verse 1. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add unto thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways, which means in everything, whether you're eating, whether you're drinking, whether you're sleeping, whether you're going to work, whether you're interacting with family, whether you're bringing up children, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. We have a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge circulating in our systems today. There's an overflux of information through the network. We have AI giving you meal plans. We have AI giving you notes and everything. We have a lot of influx of information. But be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel. The fear of the Lord and departing from evil, it shall be health. I want you to pay attention to that. It really started to change my life when I started looking at that verse. I was one day just sitting on my bed and just thinking about, because I think a lot about nutrition, I think a lot about food. I have a lot of analogies when I'm speaking to people. I can talk food all day long. But then this verse start coming to my mind. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Food that is infused with trusting God, acknowledging him in our ways, departing from evil and fearing him, it shall be health to our navels and marrow to our bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. Now, I want you to read prayerfully that chapter. It's Proverbs chapter 3. And just ask God simple steps. Let God start uncovering in your heart. What are those things that are intertwined with your eating? Emotional eating, overeating, glutton. You just eat aimlessly. What are those things that you need to start addressing that are affecting your long-term health, that are affecting your weight? Is it pity party? Are you playing victim mentality? Are you looking at things and you're blaming everything on something? Are you taking any personal responsibility? Are you just trying to say, I'm going to wing it and I'm going to walk alone and I'm going to do whatever I know to do? And is it giving you the results? So I really want us to take our food and our eating as part of worship and just take it to the Lord. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of Almighty. And I do believe our eating and our drinking and our taking care of our bodies, we also need to bring it into the presence of God. Let's invite God into our tables. Let's invite God into whatever we do. And again, let's remember, you have to learn your body. You have to start thinking of what are the things that are not working for me. Number 2, we have to look at the things that work for us. And number 3, what is the structure that I need to have? And number 4, how do I hack my metabolism? Getting out of the boxes that we've lived of culture and the current fitness fads and nutrition fads, and we need to get out of them and get to real science. Now, I need you to join my Q&As. I need you to join my workshops so that we can start discussing on what are your nutrition needs, because I want to be hearing from you before I can give you any prescriptive kind of steps to take. So, you eat to fuel your body. You eat, you don't live to eat. You eat to live, and eating in freedom. Remember, he who has been set free is free indeed. So let food not be our bondage. Let's not go back to be bound by things that we can overcome. You're in charge of your eating. The body is not in charge of your eating. So thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, please join the Q&As or just comment in the ask questions in the chat, and let's get answering those questions. So thank you so much for joining me again, and I'm looking forward to hearing all your questions, and have a great time, and God bless you, depending on your time zone and where you are. Thank you so much, and God bless you.